He's determined, energetic, typical little 2-year-old boy. He's cheeky and naughty. He's been diagnosed with hypophosphatasia, so he has soft bones because all the minerals aren't processed into his bones as well as they should be. And because of that, he was very ill when he was a baby, and he has a feeding tube. Soft bones, so when during birth he broke a few ribs and his wrist bones. Since birth he hasn't broken any bones, but we have to be a bit more careful. So they're not as soft as brittle bones, brittle bone disorder, but we still have to be quite careful with him. We don't wrap him in cotton wool. We let him get on with things, but we have to be a little bit cautious. It was 2 new doctors. They wouldn't tell me the name of it initially because they didn't want to frighten us, and they weren't 100% that's what he had, but they did eventually tell us. And Lewis was at work at the time, so I had to break the news to Lewis, which was really hard. That was one of my worst memories actually, because we thought he was improving at that time, and that was before we found out about the trial drug. So when I googled the condition, as you do, it said 50% of children diagnosed under 1 will die. So yeah, it was hard to take in. When they told us about a trial drug, I wasn't very hopeful, which sounds silly now because it saved his life. But because it was a trial and it was all really new, and no one really knew much about it in Portsmouth, it made us a bit unsure. But as soon as we arrived in Birmingham, they knew about the disorder, they knew about the drug and how effective it had been for other children, and it was our only hope, so we had to go for it. But yeah, weeks in and we noticed improvement in his breathing and his strength. He was really poorly at the time. They were talking about intubating him. He was on like a pressure oxygen, and he was steadily going downhill. They even put him in a different cot in case he crashed. But yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that he wouldn't be here without this drug. It's like a miracle drug. So hopefully it'll be made available. They don't really know, I don't think. So if he came off the drug now, he would deteriorate and his bones wouldn't grow. So I suspect he would be using a wheelchair a lot more, getting more tired out. Dr. Hogler, his main consultant, even felt that he might even die still. So he still needs a drug to survive and get stronger. A few years down the line, he might not need it. Children with his condition do go through, they call a honeymoon period, where they get strong and seem to thrive and do a lot better. So a few years down the line I'm not so worried, but now at this point I am worried, and I'm hoping that he's still going to receive it for a long time.